Story time. Story time. Story time. I call this one, just say that you broke. For real, just say it. Just say you broke, okay? Before we get into the story, once again, merch is available. This is the me versus y'all shirt available in the store. Once again, we're trying to grow this YouTube channel. Head over to YouTube, give us a follow, turn on bell notifications so you're up to date when we start launching the live show. And if you want to be a guest, make sure you click on become a guest in the description and sign up. Now back to the story. So I met this girl on Facebook dating. On paper, you would have thought she was literally the perfect girl. She was the director of a nonprofit, well known in the community, just really funny, really charismatic, pretty girl. You would think she that chick, but everything isn't what it seems. Before we get too deep in this story, women can date men with absolutely $0 in their bank account. Absolutely $0. And we would never know because true gentlemen are going, take care of the situations. And so I say this up front, you be needing to check their finances as well because where this story goes, let's just get there. We dating for probably we'd have been on 2 or 3 dates or whatever. Everything's cool, but I just sensed that she was going through a lot of stuff. She just, some of the things she used to say, some of the things she used to do, how she used to move, I used to be just yeah, this just don't sound right. Out the blue one day, she texts me and she hey, I need $36.22. Could you cash app? And I'm like, yeah, no problem. You cool? Everything all right? And she's like, well, my water about to get cut off, and if I don't pay this dude this money, he's the city's here to cut the water off. Now in my head, I'm like, that ain't no lot of money. You know what I'm saying? And this girl is one of those, Gucci belt, red bottoms, nice outfits all the time, hair always done, nails always done. So I'm a little, perplexed because the thing is you ask somebody for a little bit of money like that, it's you make bad decisions. If you would call me and be well, I need $422, they about to cut my, you know what I'm saying? Make it a number that makes sense, make it an adult size number. I cashed after $100. And then I didn't hear from her for 2 days. And so then she ended up texting me and she was like, hey, you think we can link up later or whatever? And I was at that point, I was nah, I'm cool. I'm busy. I'm cool, right? Because I was it was just weird, and how she was moving was weird. So I left it alone. Circle back. Now I typically don't circle back, but she circled back maybe a year later. I was out and I bumped into her, at, a little lounge or whatever. And so she was yeah, I was just going through a lot of stuff right then. Let me make it up to you. Let me get the next round of drinks, right? And so I'm okay. So of course she goes to go pay. Her card gets declined. And I'm so for one, she ain't even have to pay for the drinks because this is literally one of my spots. I got a tab. So it's so I tell the dude, just throw the stuff on my tab or whatever. Hey, what's going on with you? Why? She's nah, everything's just crazy. I just signed this new deal and, I had to change bank accounts and how stuff goes. And it's just crazy right now. And I just took this job making 6 figures and always capping, you know what I'm saying? But at the same time, I'm just say you broke. Just say it. It's okay. Just say it. So she's nah, let me make it up to you. Why don't you come to the house and, we can, I could cook dinner or something like that. So I'm okay. You at the same spot? And she's nah, I bought a new place and, so that's been a whole thing or whatever. So I'm okay, cool. So I go, I think it was the next day, 2 days later or something like that. So I go over to the house. Now, when I pull up to the house, I'm I was born on a Saturday. It just wasn't this Saturday. This did not look like a house that had just been moved into. This looked like a house that somebody's been living here for years, right? So I walk in and she's yeah, hey, how you doing? You like the place? You know what I'm saying? It's the foyer. She's walking around showing me stuff. Yeah, this is the dining room. And in my head, I'm what 35-year-old woman got a picture of Barack Obama over the dining room table? So, okay, let's keep going. Let's see what happens. So she's this is the living room and, this, and the third. What 35-year-old woman got a picture of Black Jesus over the fireplace mantle? Interesting. But let's keep going. And I'm so this your place, right? And she's yeah, it's my place. I just got it basically, And I'm basically, what does that mean? In my head, I'm just say you broke. Just say it. It's okay. So she's still giving me this tour of the house. And, she's this is the bedroom and this. And I'm girl, this is, all right. I'm all right, let's hold up. Stop. Whose house is this? And she's this is my house. And I'm no, whose house is this? Whose name is on the deed? And she's I mean, does that even matter? And I'm like, yeah, it matters because that's whose house it is. She's like, I mean, technically it's my mom, but she's getting older and I have to live here with her now and take care of her. So, you know, it's our house. And I'm like, it's your mama's house. You living with your mama. That's okay. That's all you had to say. You ain't have to make no elaborate, I just bought a house type thing. And she's like, Tom, you just sold, you know, did it. And I'm like, girl, you know, I'm at this point, I'm frustrated. I'm like, I'm about to leave. So I'll leave. She calls me like about a couple hours later. And she's like, hey, I probably should have just told you the truth. You make me extremely nervous. So I just, you know, I always exaggerate when I'm around you because I just feel like I'm not enough. And I'm like, I'm sorry you feel that way. I'm sorry I made you feel that way. So I'm chilling at the crib, right? She called me. She like, hey, I want to come over, talk things out or whatever. I'm like, cool, fall through. Now, I got like a regular crib. No fancy bells and whistles, nothing like that. Now, the one thing I do take pride in is my bed. Spent a bunch of money on my bed. Spent like 10 bands on my bed. I got one of the ones that go heated and cool sides and my sheet game. You know, I like those 2,000, 3,000 count Egyptian sheets because they just stay cool. They don't get too hot. I say all this to set up the next part. So she come over, right? And she's like, you know, we talking, you know, she rubbing on my chest. We talking, you know, we having a good time or whatever. She like, hey, you want to do an edible? Now, I had never done edibles before. So I was like, you know, I'll try one. So I pop it in, you know, chew it up, whatever. 10 minutes go by, nothing. And I'm like, all right. So I take another one, you know, pop it, chew it up. 10 minutes go by, nothing. So at this point, I'm like, yeah, pass me the Hennessy, you know what I'm saying? Because this ain't doing nothing. So I, you know, take a couple drinks of some Hennessy or whatever. We talking, we laughing or whatever. So I, you know, she had a whole pack of them. So I took another one. I was like, maybe they just, you know, I'm bigger. So it'd take a while for it, you know, to kick in, or you got to take enough. And she's like, hey, you know, it take like 45 minutes for those to kick in. And I was like, disclaimer should have said that at the beginning. You don't say that at the end. So I done took like 3 of these things, right? And I've been drinking Hennessy, right? I'm like, okay, what's about to happen or whatever. So we playing around, joking, you know, games or whatever. So I go to make me another drink. So I get up, walk in the kitchen. So I walk in the kitchen, and as soon as I stepped in the kitchen, the lights start being translucent and all this like euphoric feeling came over me. And I was like, what is going on? That was the last thing I remember, right? The next morning, I remember coming to in my bed, and I remember like looking at my hair, and I was just like, it was covered in blood. And I was like, what the fuck? And I'm going like this, and I got blood in my beard, and I'm looking on my sheets, and there's blood like everywhere. And so I looked over to the, you know, the left or whatever, and old girl just like leaned over the side of the bed, and it's like a big blood stain. And I'm like, what the fuck did I do? Like, I'm thinking I done killed this girl, and I got a dead body in my bed. And I call my cousin, and I'm like, you know, he a cop, and I'm like, look, I got a situation that I might need some help, ball. And he like, man, check and see if she got a pulse, like, see what's going on. So I go over to her, and it's like, you know what I'm saying? I touch this. She like, what? And I'm like, what? Scared the shit out of me. I'm like, what? She like, what? And I'm like, where is all this blood coming from? Like, what is happening right now? And she like, this is your fault. I'm like, what do you mean this is my fault? I'm like, I don't remember anything. All I remember is walking into the kitchen. I don't remember anything. Gummies and Hennessy should be outlawed flatly. This is all your fault. We was chilling, having a good time. Then all of a sudden, you know, you wanted to, you know, take it a little further. I told you I was on my period, and you was like, well, hey, I want to ride the Red River. And I was like, ain't no damn way. I ain't never told you no. I ain't told what girl shit on these sheets. She like, this all you. I was like, let's chill. Da. You wanted to go upstairs. You picked me up, carried me up here. You know what I'm saying? You did all of this. I'm like, girl, these sheets is damn near $400. You think I did? Girl, I'm pissed at this point because I'm like, my sheets is ruined. And like, if I didn't have a topper, my bed would be ruined. Like, it's blood everywhere. I'm like, why would you even let somebody have this sex with you, and you out here a whole vampire right now? You like a whole jug of Kool-Aid just everywhere. Like, what is going on? Why would you eat? And she's like, you know, I mean, I wanted to make it up to you for, you know, everything, you know, that happened earlier, but at the same time, it's like, you know, you was sort of like, you know, on it. And I was like, on it? Man, get the hell out of my house. Get your stuff and get the hell out of my house. And she like grabbing her stuff all disgruntled and stuff like that. And I'm like, I'm looking at my bed, and I'm just like, ain't no way. She grabbed all her stuff. She go home. I'm pissed. Like, I'm steaming. Like I'm bagging up the stuff. I'm bagging up everything. I'm looking. You know what I'm staring at myself in the mirror. I got blood in my beard. I'm like, ain't no way. I'm a nasty nigga. I needed video. I needed somebody to show the tape. Like, I needed to see what happened because of this. I still don't believe it to this day. I don't believe nothing she said. She's a terrorist. I don't believe it. But hey, that's just another horrible, horrible line of bad, horrible dating experiences. I'll see you in the next one. I can't believe it still.